We are going to be practicing a hip opener flow today with a focus on the Indweller, this fully awake conscious awareness within each and every one of us that animates the body, that is really the true self. The body really can't do anything without this Indweller, this soul presence, this Atman, this inner divine presence. So that's going to be our focus today, which I'm really excited about as we open the body and the hips and the mind and the heart, of course. So centering, finding that earth below you, supporting your body, supporting your physical presence in this exact spot on the planet. We can only occupy one piece of real estate at a time. And that is where our feet are, where we are sitting, where our body is occupying in this moment. So really honoring this piece of real estate we are occupying in this moment in time. And feeling support, feel the earth support the body. Flying off the planet into space, gravity and the earth are working together to keep us secure and safe right here in this spot on the earth. And let's begin to breathe into the lower belly. Some abdominal breathing, belly breaths. And allowing that relaxation response, that parasympathetic nervous system to take over as you breathe. Nice, deep, slow breaths. And the invitation is to be breathing into the belly, nice, deep, flowing, even breaths throughout the entire practice today. We're going to be in a hip opener flow, so we're actually going to be mostly on the floor. We'll do some lunges, we'll get up a little bit, but be mostly on the floor. So we can just relax into this breath, into the belly. And as we breathe, we also bring prana and life force into the body. And so we are going to engage our bandhas while we breathe so that this life force and prana that we're bringing in doesn't leak out. And there's 3 bandhas. We're going to engage all of them as often as possible, which is actually called the Mala Bandha. But each individual bandha is the Mula Bandha, which is the pelvic floor. So we're going to engage that, and we're going to feel a lift of the pelvic floor and a slight engagement. We're not clenching it, but we're engaging it and lifting. And the second is Uddiyana Bandha. That's the abdomen here, right around the navel, and we're going to feel that engage slightly and a lift up. And third is the Jalandhara Bandha. The chin will come in, and the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And so as we sit here, can slightly engage all those bandhas and breathe into the belly. And take this moment to simply check in with yourself and notice where you're at. Noticing first the physical body, being aware of the body, noticing any sensations. We're not judging or changing anything. We're just noticing the neutral observer. And diving inward into that indweller, into that aliveness, that inner conscious awareness, and noticing what it feels like and the energy and the movement within us. We're going to be bringing our focus inward a lot through this practice as we bring the focus to the inner being, the indweller. We bring more attention to this eternal part of ourselves. You may feel your heart beating. You may feel warmth, tingling, vibrating, trembling, energy moving and flowing, cool. Just noticing, again, without needing to change anything or judge anything. Just being that neutral witness. And then noticing the emotional landscape. Again, with no judgment, no need to change, and no need to even label anything. Simply bask in the felt sense. And taking this moment, this time, to set an intention for yourself. Stating it silently to yourself. And allowing yourself to bask in those emotions. And sending that intention off into the universe with a this or better, this or better. Knowing there always may be a higher possibility that our minds have not thought of. And coming back to center, and let's go into a little 3-part yogic breath for a moment. Breathing into the abdomen, the ribs, and the chest. Pausing at the top of the breath, and we're going to just let it all go. Inhaling into the belly, like a wave into the ribs and the chest. Pausing at the top, and then letting it go. And a couple more at your own pace. And coming back, gently opening your eyes. And we're going to begin just with some gentle head rolls. So let's first take the chin in towards the chest. Let's be really observant of the sensations, and especially those inner sensations, as we really honor this indweller, this infinite intelligence within us. Really nice stretch on the back of the neck. And then lifting up and bringing the neck back slightly. We're not going to drop the neck all the way, just a little bit, and begin to make some gentle circles around. Nice and slowly, slow enough to really notice the sensations. While we're moving in this gentle neck roll, allowing yourself to dive inside and be connected to the inner aliveness, this indweller, while you move. Practicing this with a really gentle movement, and we'll be practicing it through some larger movements, more effort-based movements. Keeping that breath flowing, deeply connected to that inner aliveness, that indweller. Let's go the other direction. As we focus on this indweller, this powerful conscious awareness within us, we allow and invite this sacred embodiment. And coming back to center. Beautiful job. And let's bring the hands gently to the knees or the thighs and moving into some nice hip circles as we move the body around the pelvis, around the hips, pelvic circles, pelvic rocks. And noticing the sensations in the body, staying deeply connected to the indweller within you. And let's go the other direction. Keeping that attention inward, the inner being, coming back to center. Beautiful job. Let's bring those feet together. We'll move into our butterfly, our Baddha Konasana. Bringing the hands around the feet. You can open those feet up a little like a book. And the knees and the legs are like our angel wings, so we can begin to flap those angel wings, those butterfly wings. Just feeling that gentle hip opener on both sides as you flap those wings. Staying connected to that inner being. And allowing that to slow down, and then bringing those knees and thighs, pressing them down towards the earth and the floor. And we're going to inhale as we lengthen the spine. And exhale as you begin to fold forward. Feeling a nice hip opener on both sides. Finding your edge, honoring that edge wherever it is for you. Let's engage those bandhas and breathe. You can close the eyes and dive within. See if you can maybe hinge a little deeper in your hip now. Just the hip. Maybe even hinge a little deeper. And one more breath. And inhale as you come up. Beautiful job. I'm going to move now into a hero pose. It's a sitting pose, and I love to do it with a block. You don't need to, but you can practice this first, especially if you're not in that flexibility. And you can just sit down on that block, sit down on the sacrum on the block, and then the legs are on either side of the block, and then we're going to take the feet out a little wider and bring the knees in a little closer, sitting in a hero pose, Virasana. And if you'd like to Create more flexibility, a little more challenge. You can move that block. And we're just going to sit in this beautiful hero's pose for a few breaths as we really dive deeply within and bring the attention, our focused awareness, into this indweller within us. And one more breath here in our hero's pose, Virasana. Beautiful. I'm going to invite you to come up in this hero's pose, and we're going to bring the feet forward, and we're going to move into a fire log pose, Agnistan Asana. With our fire pose, first thing we're going to do is to bring both legs out. I like to start this way and then take the first leg and bring it. I'm taking my right leg and bring it parallel to the mat here. That's beautiful. And we're going to take this left leg and we're going to line up the ankles and the knees. So we're going to bring the ankle, the left leg on the right knee, and hoping that this ankle and knee, my left knee is aligned with my right ankle. Now there's a little space here because I'm working on flexibility. And if you'd like, you can put a little block in there or a cushion if that makes you feel better. I like to just kind of let it hang. So as I do this more and more, I will create a little more flexibility. And we're going to take the feet and we're going to flex the feet. And I invite you to bring the hands down to the mat. Inhale as you lengthen the spine and allow yourself to hinge forward. And I'm not able to hinge forward too much because of the hips. So find your edge, wherever that is for you, as we open up the hips in this beautiful fire log pose. Agnistan. And breathing into the belly, staying deeply connected to this Atman's inner presence. One more breath here. And coming back up to center. And we're going to bring the feet out again. And we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to take the left foot and bring it so it comes alongside the mat here. I'm going to take the left leg and I'm going to stack the right leg. I'm going to stack the right ankle over the left knee. And this right knee should be over the left ankle again, flexing those feet. And if you want to put a cushion or block here in this space, that's okay. Bringing the hands down to the mat. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, hinging forward. Let's engage those bandhas and let's breathe. Bringing that attention inward. One more breath. Beautiful. Coming back up to center. And let's open up those legs. Let's bring them out in front of us. Let's just flop them a little bit. Side to side. releasing and relaxing of those legs. Let's go into a single leg forward fold. This is also a hip opener. We're going to take the left leg is extended out. We take the right leg and bring the foot of the right leg resting on the inner thigh of the left. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, hinging forward. You can bring the hands down to the earth. Feel that hinge and that hip opener on the left side. Finding your edge, engaging those bandhas, and bringing the prana, bringing that awareness inward. Flex and extend that extended leg for extra sensation. Seeing if you can hinge a little bit deeper now after holding that. One more breath. And coming up. Beautiful job. And let's switch legs. Let's bring that right leg out and left leg in. So the left foot is resting on the inner thigh of the right leg. Inhale, lengthening, engaging those bandhas. Exhaling, bring the hands to the mat, hinging forward at the hip. Feeling a hip opener on the right side now. And breathe, diving within. Flex and extend that extended foot. See maybe if you can hinge a little deeper this last breath or two. And coming back up to center. Beautiful job. We're going to come now onto the feet into a nice little squat. So we're on our sweep. This is Malasana. Nice squat. And you want to try to get those heels down. This is a little bit of a struggle for me because of my calves. My body is, I really like to, my body likes to have those heels up. But if you can get those heels down to the floor, your buttocks is still lifting up off the earth. And I'm going to invite you to bring the arms inside the legs. And the gentle pressing out of the knees in your nice seated squat, just for a little deeper hip opener. So feeling that, find your edge, engage those bandhas, and let's breathe into this beautiful squat. Resting in the heart, resting in the inner being. Sending that inner aliveness, your own love. One more breath here. Beautiful. And you can release those hands, and we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to move into a frog. There's a couple different frogs, but this frog is a really great hip opener. This is Manduk Asana. I like the Manduk. It sounds like what you might name a frog. Manduk Asana. So we're going to come up, bringing the hands kind of in a little gentle table, but we're going to bring those knees out wider than the hands. And then we're going to bring the feet out The feet are flexed. We're going to bring out the feet wider than the knees. And then this is the tricky part. We're going to start to bring the hips back and find your edge. I can't move my hips back too much. I feel too much sensation. So this is where I'm going to be. And engaging those bandhas and breathe. Noticing the sensation is really beautiful hip opener. One more breath. Maybe seeing if you can go back just a little more in this last breath. And then coming back to center. Bringing those feet back in and bringing those knees back in. And can we move this way onto the mat? We're going to move into a little lunge flow. So I'm in a table position. So set yourself up in a nice table position where the knees are directly under the hips and the hands are directly under the shoulders. And let's move into a little cat-cow to begin with, some flexion and extension of the spine. Cow, we're going to arch the back, stick the tailbone up, and lift the head of the heart. Inhaling into cow. This is our cow, sorry. That's extension of the spine. And then we move into our cat as we curl the tailbone under, round that back like a nice howling cat. Allow the head to gently drop to look in towards the side as we exhale for flexion of the spine. Moving back and forth, finding your own pace, keeping that breath flowing, and staying deeply connected to that soul presence within you, that indweller. You might, next time you go into your cat, bring those hips back to feel a nice little stretch in the lower back. And just beginning to add any little spontaneous movements, maybe side to side with the hips or some circles. Moving back and forth in cat-cow, adding some little spontaneous movements. Bringing your attention to the sensation in your body, staying deeply connected to that indweller. And breathe. And then coming back to center. Beautiful job. We're going to open those hands up just a little bit. We're going to take that right leg and bring it between the hands. We're going to move into a nice low lunge to begin with. And we can take that back knee back a little bit just to help with the hip opening as we begin to lunge forward. And as you lunge forward, we're going to just simply hold this lunge for a couple breaths, engaging those bandhas, allowing that hip to open up gently, staying connected to the inner being. One more breath here. See if you can lunge forward a little bit more, even go a little deeper without forcing, without going into any pain. Always back off if there's pain, remembering you can take a break at any time during the practice. And coming up gently, we move into a blaster pose. So we're going to take this right hand and bring it inside the right leg. So both hands are on the inside of the right leg. And sometimes people like to use a block for this. I like to keep my hands on the mat. Again, you can bring the knee back a little if you need to. And we're going to lunge forward again. And I invite you, if you'd like to come down to your forearms, to do that. You want to increase the sensations and add a little sensation on the right side as well as the left. And engage the bandhas and breathe. Resting in the heart, the inner being. One more breath. Coming up to center. We're going to be moving into our pigeon hip opener now. So we're going to take this right leg and we're going to bend the knee. We're going to bring that shin as parallel to the front of the mat as we can. Bring the hands out in front of the body, and we're going to balance that hip upright. So we don't want to be rolling over, such a tendency to do, but we're going to balance it up for a deeper hip opener into the pigeon pose. And again, here, if you'd like to come down to the forearms or stay up on your hands or even use a block, that works. Engaging those bandhas, and let's breathe. Some people like to go to a full and bring the arms extended out and allow the head to rest down. And you can do that as well. One more breath here. And gently and kindly coming up. Let's bring that right knee back. So we're back into a table pose. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take this left leg up between the hands. Take the right knee back a little bit. Let's begin to hinge forward as you feel a nice opening on the left side. Find your edge, never forcing or entering into any pain. Always back off if there's pain. Engage those bandhas and bring in the breath, resting within. You can hinge a little bit deeper. This last breath. Beautiful. And back up to neutral. I'm going to move into blaster pose. So I'm going to take this left hand and bring it on the inside to the right of the left foot. So both hands are resting to the right of this left foot. And I'm going to hinge forward in the blaster pose. Remember, you can use a block if you like. Finding your edge, allowing that knee to move back if you like. Remember, you can come down onto the forearms. And breathe. Engage those bandhas. resting in the indweller. One more nice deep breath here. And gently coming up. We're going to move into pigeon on this side. So you can bring the hands on either side of that front foot again. We're going to take this left leg and bend the knee and bring that left shin as parallel to the front mat as possible. Bringing the hands in front and balancing those hips so we're not rolling over like I just was to one side. And feeling this nice hip opener in your pigeon. And you may have feet here. You may be using a block here if you want. Use a block. Or you can go a little deeper down onto the forearms. Or extend the arms out in front and rest the head down. Engaging those bandhas, and let's breathe as we rest in that inner aliveness. And gently and kindly coming up out of your pigeon, back into our table, and we're going to move up onto our knees, move into Ustrasana, camel pose. So we're up onto our knees, and the first thing we want to do before we move into this back bend is we want to tuck that tailbone under, open up this lumbar vertebrae, bringing the hands to the lumbar back, the lower back. We're going to open the heart and open the chest and begin to feel a nice back bend. The head is going to be in alignment with the spine. We don't drop the head. We're not going to drop it. We're going to keep it in alignment with the spine. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bring the hands down to the heels. Or you need a little extra support, which I always love, is to come up onto the toes and bring the hands to the heels. And make sure to bring those hips back over the knees. And feel that nice hip opener, that chest opener, heart opener. And engage the bandhas and breathe. Staying connected to your Atman, your indweller. One more breath. And bring the hands back to the small of the back. You went down to your heels. Coming up, and let's move into a nice child's pose. Coming back, opening up those knees. Let the belly rest in between the knees. Coming down, resting those arms out in front. Head down to the earth. Have the toes touching. And just relax. And taking a few breaths, we're going to rest for several breaths here as you really bask in that inner heart. Really bring your attention and focus into that indweller within you. more breaths here. On your next inhale, coming all the way up. Let's bring those feet out in front of us. Let's come all the way down onto our backs. Bringing those knees into the chest. Rocking back and forth to release and relax that lower back. I'm going to invite you to bring the legs down and bring the feet together into a couple Baddha Konasanas. First one is just resting as they're both Supta Baddha Konasana because we're supine. The feet are together and we're just resting the knees. They may come down to the mat or they may be lifted up at whatever level it is for you. Just allowing that to be. We're going to just rest in a few breaths here, allowing those hips to open gently. Breathing into the belly, you can engage those bandhas and rest in that inner aliveness, that inner heart. One more breath here. Beautiful job. Let's bring those knees together. Bring the knees in to the chest and rocking back and forth again, releasing and relaxing that lower back. Let's bring those feet together into a butterfly, Baddha Konasana again. Wrapping those hands around the outside of the feet and gently pulling those feet in towards the body, feeling the hip opening on both sides, finding your gentle edge, never forcing, always allowing the body to open. Engaging those bandhas and breathe. Beautiful job. And releasing that gentle pull a little. And let's bring this left leg out. Feel a nice stretch on the left leg. And you can pull it in towards the body a little. Move it up or down. Finding some gentle movements as you feel a nice opening of this left leg. Keeping that breath flowing, keeping connected to the indweller. The inner divine presence within you. Extension of the source creator that lives and breathes within you. And releasing the left leg, bringing that in, and let's take the right leg out. Extending that right leg, opening up that right leg. Gentle movements, allowing the body to open. Engaging those bandhas and breathe. Staying connected within. And coming back to center. And let's bring both feet down onto the earth, onto your mat. Knees are up. We're going to move into a supine pigeon. So we're going to keep this left knee up, and I'm going to take the right leg, and I'm going to rest the right ankle right on the left leg. I'm going to lift the left foot up, bring the left leg towards the body. I'm going to clasp my hands behind the left leg, and I'm going to, with my hands, begin to pull that left leg gently into the body, finding my gentle edge here, feeling that hip opener on the right side. And I find that edge and engage those bandhas and bring in the prana, rest within. One more breath. Releasing that left leg, and let's move on to the other side. So bringing the right foot to the mat, right knee is up. I'm going to bring the left ankle to rest on the right leg. I'm going to lift that right foot up, bring the right thigh in towards myself, clasping my hands behind that right hamstring, and gently pulling that right leg into the body, feeling the hip opening on the left side, finding your gentle edge, engaging those bandhas, bring in the prana, and rest in the indweller. One more breath. And releasing that right leg. Beautiful job. Move into a nice little supine twist. So we're going to take this left leg and keep that straight out. I'm going to come up onto my left side just an inch to keep that spine neutral. I'm going to take the right knee over to the left. Left hand is going to guide that right knee over. Find your edge here. My right hand is going to come out 90 degrees out to the side, and I'm going to turn my head to gaze out over the right fingertips. To bring a twist into the cervical, the upper thoracic, lower thoracic, and lumbar spine. And engage those bandhas and breathe. Settling deeply within. One more breath here. And releasing that knee. Coming back to center. Let's move over to the other side. So we're going to take the right leg straight out. Come up onto that right side just an inch. Bring the left knee over to the right. Right hand guiding the left knee over. And taking that left arm out 90 degrees. Turning the head to gaze out over the left fingertips. Engaging those bandhas. And resting and basking in this beautiful twist. basking within. Deep breaths. One more breath. Releasing that leg. Coming back to center. And let's bring those knees into the chest, rocking back and forth, releasing and relaxing that lower back. We're going to move into baby. So the first thing we're going to do is spread those knees out a little wider. You don't want to pull those knees down into the ribs. Rather just pull them down towards the armpits. Let's bring those feet up so they're facing the sky. Bring the hands out to the wide edges, the outside edges of the feet. And then gently pulling the feet down, the knees down, as you feel those hips opening up. Engaging those bandhas, and let's breathe. Resting in that inner aliveness, that inner heart. And releasing that pull and just rolling around in your Ananda Balasana, happy baby, kicking around like you did when you were a baby. Just enjoying the sensations, doing what feels good, keeping the breath flowing, keeping connected within. And coming back to center, we're going to bring those feet to the mat. Knees are going to be up. We're going to move into a few releases and Savasana. So finding those hips. Everything is flat on the earth. Nothing's going to lift up off the earth or the mat. We're just going to swivel these hips in our hula. So beginning to swivel the hips and finding that right hip moving down towards the right heel, left coming up towards the left armpit. And switching back so that right hip is coming up towards the right armpit and the left hip is going down towards the heel. And finding that gentle swivel. Nice slow movements. Staying connected deeply within. And breathe. Noticing sensations here. Breathing into the belly. And coming back to center. We're going to move now into hip pointers. So we're going to keep one hip and butt cheek really rooted into the earth. And the opposite one is going to point up. So it's going to lift up off the earth gently and point up towards the sky. Adding a tiny twist in that lumbar spine. And then we're going to relax. Relax my left butt and hip into the earth as I point the right up. And moving back and forth. One hip at a time, pointing up towards the sky. Keeping the breath flowing, connected to the self. And coming back to center. We're going to move now into supine cat-cow. So let's go into cat first as we press the small of the back, that lumbar spine, into the earth, tucking the tail under in our flexion. And then transitioning to our cow or our extension as we arch that lumbar spine, that low back up off the earth, sticking the tailbone into the earth. Your back may be resting on the earth, but the spine is arched up. Moving back and forth into your cat-cow. Flexion and extension of the spine in our supine position. Keeping the breath flowing. Keeping that connection within. Fully present to sensation. Coming back to center. And we're going to keep those knees up. And we're going to begin to walk the feet a little further apart from each other until they come out to the wide edges of the mat. And let's drop one knee at a time into the center. Single knee drop. Breathing into the belly, connected to the inner aliveness. Noticing sensation. And coming back to center. Let's walk those feet back to hip width apart. A little bit closer than hip width, and let's drop both knees over to one side. Moving into double knee drop, we're going to bring the upper leg up and over to the other side and allow the lower to follow. They're both stacked on one side. And again, lifting the upper leg up, bringing it over to one side, letting the lower leg follow. Keeping the breath flowing. Nice slow movements. One more time on either side. And coming back to center. And let's bring those knees into the chest. Final release of the lower back before we move into our savasana, allowing the entire practice to integrate into our mind, body, and spirit. So relaxing those legs out. And the legs a little distance apart, allowing the feet to flop out, the arms a little away from the body, palms up, allowing the entire body to release and relax and sink deeply into the earth. Let the earth hold your body weight, releasing the muscles of the buttocks, the back, the legs, the feet, the arms, releasing any holding and any tension in the body. Allowing all the systems of the body, all levels of the body, to find a silent stillness and deep relaxation. Allowing the mind, brain, the nervous system, and the spine to deeply relax. And resting in that silent stillness for several breaths. Taking a nice deep breath into the belly. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes, stretching out the body. Coming back into the body, rolling over to one side. Taking a breath here. Just noticing all those shifts of energy in your body as you roll to your side. And then again as we sit up. When you're ready, coming to a seated position. And taking this moment to check in again with the body. Just noticing, maybe even noticing any shifts in your body when we checked in at the beginning of practice. Diving within, basking in that indweller, that inner aliveness, and noticing what it's like inside. observing the emotional landscape, witnessing, checking in. And bringing yourself back to that intention that you set at the beginning of practice. Feeling the emotions. We will conclude with a namaste. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of light, of truth, and of peace. When I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Ecstatic Yoga Hip Opening Flow. I am Grace. Please check out EcstaticYoga.Studio for our yoga teacher trainings and our yoga retreats. Wishing you a most beautiful and most blessed day.